Well, here we are again. Some folks wanted me to cover all the past premium support sets due to the enjoyment of the first one, and since I have pent-up aggression and love for all of them, I might as well give you a review on the last two. Today I'll go over the card design disaster that was Premium Collection 2020 that drug us all face first through the ground, and no, I'm not talking about sand, I'm more talking about like molten lava. However, I hate to be a negative Nancy to start, so let's go off with some of the pros that came from the set. For the first time in a while, Bushiroad gave us Cray Elemental support. And more importantly, they gave us a Cray Elemental Grade 3 so that all of us meme kings from G could actually build a full Cray Elemental deck minus the triggers. But hey, I can only dream, right? The cool part about this Cray Elemental support was that it was leaning and gave every clan access to a superior ride, something that the format was recovering from Ezel and that Riviera was still really strong. It also gave you the buff to a superior stride that would lean toward Vanillas and Cyclone and was able to buff blank units by 5k in the G zone and on Vanguard Circle. The best Cray Elemental support to come from this set, and no, you don't get stream timed yet. Stop. Pause. The best Cray Elemental to come from this set was Rollock. While yes, this card was insanely expensive now, and we didn't see its vast uses for this card until ride down decks became more popularized. This card aged insanely well, as late game focused strategies such as Great Nature would allow them to get to the late game without being rushed out of their minds. Though there was one Cray Elemental that stuck out like a sore thumb. Yes, Zarzan, you can come out now. This thing scared every player, but let's take a step back for some context. And premium cards have GB on them, which means at different GB numbers they gain access to certain skills depending on the amount of G units face up in the G zone and or on Vanguard Circle. These skills were designed with the intention of them to be online once you strode or had a face-up card in the G zone, which is fine. It was a great way to handle all the G support to slow down any insane early game some cards might have generate if you had to were able to remove the GB1 clause. Yet, you know how I said it was bad if they were able to essentially just remove it? Well, it happened that Zarzan gave you access to GB1 as soon as turn 1 if you wrote it or called it because you met this crazy payoff for fooling your deck full of vanillas. Not only though did Zarzan have an insane advantage in it, but it was also a new order card in Tempestree that would just let you flip up a card in your G zone for a CB and let you look at the top 7 for 2 vanillas. Yeah, totally fair. Zarzan eventually was emergency restricted to 1, but was still abused inside of Grand Blue and Genesis thanks to Columbard and Fenrir respectively. However, this little bugger finally met the banhammer in October 2021 along with Tempestree. So in the words of my boy Hard Ali, bless up. Now on to some other problems. The first one comes from Dragon Empire, and yes, I'm talking about Nuadayo and Stunverse. In Nuadayo's case, Hyuga was a premier V premium deck for Marakumo at the time of its printing, and this card was obvious support of the V-Series boss in terms of name of cloning. They gave this card a superior stride condition that if you had 5 units with the same card name, you could do this for a Soul Blast 1 and stride him from the G-Zone, and this was just done by the ease of 1 Counterblast for Hyuga. To add insult to injury though, if you strode this way, Nuadayo would gain a guard restrict and said, oh yeah, please guard my swing with 5 cards, and on attack also, I restand the entire board for no cost. Just flip a card. Yeah, you can see how costless skill ended up creating a completely overbearing problem with Dragonic Overlord, the Overtrigger. Then there's this. The bane of every single Vanguardian casual in existence. But let's read why exactly this guy was the latest to be put on the restriction list from this set. So yeah, Stunverse. You bind your opponent's cards and up to 4 cards from field and 4 cards from their drop zone. Then you check your opponent's bind zone, and for every 4 cards you get to draw a card, and your opponent binds 3 if they have 12. And it only scales higher. Wow, cool. Oh, and we get to go back down into the grade 3 reroad? I don't see how this could be a problem at all. Yeah, it seems that VSR and Vanquisher abused this card to no end back in their respective prime, and that this card is absolutely insane. This card would be fine, though, if it just flipped. Yeah, okay, so now that we're done with those, because I really want to save my my absolute hatred for Stunverse later, but it's okay. We're on to Genesis now. Marduk. Okay, so here's my one grievance with this guy. Why did Genesis get the laziest superior strike condition on the planet? Ah yes, actively. If you've done your game plan in soul charging and didn't guard 1 attack because you now have the counterblast, please stride. Like, good lord, this was not needed, especially since it doesn't check if your opponent's at grade 3 or not, but this card's just dummy value and speaks for itself on why it's immensely powerful given its lazy design. Now, on to the maybe a little bit more controversial, but I'm here for Crystal Luster and Chainraker. While these cards are not a problem on their own, unfortunately cards like these, as we learned with Castile Diamantis, limit card design overall for a clan, and now nations such as Overdress. While I love Crystal Luster for MLB and Jewel Knights and Chainraker for Claret Sword and Raging Form, I think card design wise those archetypes are the high ends for each of these respective strides to prevent a repeat of game breaking cloning interactions, and why I believe these strides due to their V-centric Vanguard designs were only implemented to these two clans, and why other clans won't receive heart copiers for future premium collection sets. Though I thought Premium Collection 2020 brought some new problems but explored new design spaces, this really brought a pandemic to the Vanguard format, but I'm glad to see appropriate actions were taken to recover from the mistake of this set. If you enjoy this type of content, please support me by ordering with Kingslayer cards using the promo code SCHOLAR and save 5% on your checkout. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I can't wait to continue to grow this channel, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. I hope you all have an excellent rest of your day and an excellent rest of your week. I love you all, and take care.